Welcome. This is the Mentally Whole podcast. I am your host, Lauren Green. This podcast is a safe place for us to have weekly discussions about mental health, Christ, personal development, and the tools to live our best lives. Stay tuned for a new episode. Hi guys, welcome back to the Mentally Whole podcast. I'm your host, Lauren Green, and we are joined with a special guest, PM Kester. I've been on her show a couple of times. Oh yeah, it's been 2 times.
Yes.
And I had been thinking about how to get her on the show or what we would talk about on the show. And every time I thought about a topic, I was like, I don't know about that one. But we have a good topic today that I love. So I would like you to introduce yourself to the people.
For the people. Yes. Thank you so much for having me on. I am PM Kester. I am a mother. I am a scientist. And I am the host of How to Take a Break, the podcast.
Which is a great show.
Thank you so much. I've had the honor and the privilege of having you on twice. If you haven't already, go to the link in my bio when I give my info at the end and listen to our show that we did on fear. It's like one of my highest rated shows.
Yes, and I'll put it in the show notes. Let me write that down to myself because I'll forget. But I'll put it, even though I listen to the episodes after, sometimes I forget.
But I understand.
I'll put it in the show notes. As a matter of fact, it's in the link in my bio.
Yes, I looked up in there. I meant to say something.
Yeah, it's in there. This is like off topic, but how did you find my podcast? Because you live in Georgia and I do not live in Georgia.
You did not. Scrolling through Instagram and it was referenced on something. You commented on something and I happened upon like maybe something you commented on and I just started clicking and looked and started listening to some of your podcasts and I was like, oh my goodness, it's great.
I was telling my friend, I was like, I don't know how she found my podcast. Like
Instagram is how I basically find.
Instagram is a wonderful place. Like one of my favorite podcasts that I listen to, I found them on Instagram.
Yeah, that is basically, what I've done, what has actually helped. I actually get more traffic now on my Instagram than my Facebook. So in regards to my podcast, but mostly everyone that I interviewed during season 1 was
from Instagram.
Somebody from Instagram.
Look at that.
I like to post or I
power of social media.
Stuff. Yeah. And they were cool. We were in each other's DMs and I was like, hey, can you be my podcast?
The social media is a powerful thing. The episode that comes out soon, we're recording this in December, but this comes out in January. I met that person from social media. Ta-da!
That's right.
Power of social media. So today we are talking about being more intentional or intentions. Mm-hmm. And I saw a post that PM had made about intentions over resolutions, basically.
Yes.
And I was like, that is a good idea. I like it because I feel like we go into the new year, like every year, like new year, new me. I don't know where that came from, but new year, new me. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do all these things. And people, half the time, they don't achieve those goals. So how would you define being intentional or intentions?
So I would start off actually with the main definition of the word intention, which is a thing intended, an aim, or plan. So basically, an intention is, in layman's terms, a goal, something that we have a plan to achieve. All we plan to achieve is an intention.
Yeah, I had looked it up myself, and I looked up the synonyms for being intentional or intention, and those are really good, actually. So some of the synonyms for intention are deliberate, calculated, conscious, intended, planned. What else? Purposed, premeditated. Didn't know that.
Purpose.
Yeah, didn't know premeditated was a synonym of intentional. But that kind of makes sense when you talk about
the legal aspects. Yes.
Yeah, legal aspects and crime.
I know, right? I don't know why my head just immediately went to Law and Order or something, but
yeah, I was like, oh, premeditated, and I was like, oh, what's what I mean, like first degree murder and second degree murder. They had intended to do that to somebody,
right? It's the intent, so it always comes up in the criminal justice system.
It does, doesn't it? So what is the difference between intentions and resolutions?
All right, so when I look at intention is not as firm, where resolution is firm, because it's a resolve.
Okay.
And there's no room for error. Whereas as you intend something, there's an aim to do something. But we aim to do a lot of things.
We do.
We aim to do a lot of things and we fail at them. But the difference is for most people, when they make resolutions, because in their head, a resolution seems so firm. Like if I can't do this right the first time in January, then I'm just going to hang it up for the year. Where we intend to do things all year long. And we fail at it maybe at the beginning of January, but we'll get back on the horse and be like, February 1, I'm starting over again. This is me trying to drop these 10 pounds. See, I'm talking to myself. But
so intentions are more flexible.
Yes.
I like it. Yeah, I had just saw a post this morning on, it was Instagram. And somebody, it was Instagram. I know it was.
Instagram needs to sponsor our podcast.
They do, but and she was talking about, the person was talking about how they stop setting goals and they set intentions, because when they set goals, there's like this invisible pressure to like make it happen, right? And I feel like, like you said, intentions it's an aim. You don't have to like do it right then and there or within the next 30 days. It's more flexible.
Right.
So what are some steps for us to set our intentions?
Oh, I am so happy you asked.
What are some steps? What are
some steps? So, as you know, my podcast is called How to Take a Break, and I usually give 3 breakaways. So I'm going to give breakaways versus steps towards setting and implementing your intentions.
Yeah.
And breakaway number 1 is to take an assessment. A lot of times I think we fail with our intention setting is because we actually don't assess lives.
Yeah.
What we're trying to do going into this intention. And I think that weighs it down. So breakaway number 1 is take an assessment, concentrate on 2020, which everyone is referring to as the dumpster fire of 2020. But I want us to get past all of that.
The dumpster fire.
The dumpster fire. Oh, I'm trying to tell you these memes. Look, since I've been on break this week, these memes I've been looking at about 2020. But I want you to get past that, get past all of this bad things that have happened in 2020 and really drill down on taking assessment into 3 categories I look at: money, career, and relationship.
Okay.
Look at your wins and losses in each of these areas. And after doing that, do a little summary. You can call it your lessons learned for each of the categories. And then use that to actually set your intention for 2021. So that's breakaway number 1, take an assessment. Now, you've done all that review. You've figured out kind of like what direction you may be going into for your intention. So that goes into breakaway number 2, which is name that intention. And don't get bogged down in the little things. The little things will kind of come into play. I like to set a broad intention.
Yeah.
And my intention. So for 2021, my broad intention is growth.
Okay.
That's my intention for 2021. So growth in my career, growth in my relationships, and growth in my money, right? So that means
where the money reside. Where the money reside.
That is where the money resides. But in doing all that, I'm applying that word, that intention, growth to all those categories. So I'm going to look back over all my assessments that I did in breakaway number 1. Mm-hmm. And I'll be like, how can I grow in my career in 2021? So that's going to be, my little mini intentions that I set up under that area, which, look for another job, or number 2, try to see how I can advance further in my current job, growth in my relationships, work on my listening skills in my romantic relationship. And then for my relationship with my family, work on my communication skills. And I might have to drill that down a little bit further. Growth with money. Find ways to bring more income in. And then number 2, find ways to keep this money in my house. So, and that all comes under my big, broad intention,
which is growth.
Okay. So I think you have to name that intention and make it a broad intention. That's breakaway number 2. And breakaway number 3, implement and give grace. It's great, and I think it's a thing that we also get wrapped up in at the beginning of the year when we are naming our intentions and our plans for the year. Is we name them, so fail to implement them. It's like we think that write them down, they're going to magically happen. And that would be nice for, me to just automatically get this growth in my career and growth in my relationships and growth in my money. But I'm going to have to do some things.
You're going to have to do some planning.
Yes.
You're going to have to do some scheduling, because with intentions, you need to schedule time for stuff.
This is true.
If you want to grow in certain areas, you have to schedule time to make a budget. You have to set, if you want to lose weight, you got to set time to go to the gym. You have to schedule and plan with your intentions. And I think more so now than ever, with this whole, I'm a manifest culture on Instagram, it's okay, I'm going to manifest this. And I'm like, well, what does that even mean? I don't know what that means.
How you manifesting stuff out of zero? It's hard to manifest stuff out of zero.
It's been a rapid thing, the last year and a half.
Yes.
I'm gonna manifest this and I'll manifest that. And I'm like, what does that even mean? Can we explain that to me? Because I don't know what that means.
Yeah, you can write stuff on there, on your paper. You can write this intention down. You can set this broad intention, but please know that you're going to have to implement. And also give yourself some grace, because these things will not happen overnight. You won't just, unless you're just looking, maybe you find a 4-leaf clover or something like that, or maybe you are able to magically manifest these things. But for most of us, we're going to have to implement and then give ourselves grace, because I'm going to implement this budget, but I'm also going to recognize that by the end of January, I'm not going to have $5,000 in my savings account.
Exactly.
Because I kind of have to work the steps.
Yes, you have to work the steps. Because if you don't work the steps, you will be in the same place you was at on January 1st, 2021.
That's correct. And you also have to recognize that when you implement and give yourself grace, that implementing is also implementing and then checking yourself every so often, because what you're doing may not be working. So you might have to go pull in some tools, right? You try to do growth in your career. You might have to go get some help with your resume, growth in relationships and growth in money. You might need some help with even tracking your progress. I have a love journal that I am putting on the market, because that's actually what I have used in my life for my relationships. It's when I started dating again, it was the tool that I needed. And it was something that I kind of created from listening and stuff and reading something, but I found it useful, but nothing was working until I implemented, into my implementation process. So you might need something. You might need some worksheets or things like that to help you track your time. It shows you that you have the time to work on your resume. You have the time to work on your relationships or to work on your money. But there must be implementation. You must give yourself grace, because nothing truly worthwhile, I think I'm saying that correctly, happens overnight. Everything is a process.
Everything is a process. Everything. Literally everything is a process.
Everything's a
Literally.
process now. But if you manifest something overnight, then you email us and you let us know how you did that, okay? So
Please let me know. Cause they've been talking about manifesting and
yes, because I mean to
I'm just like,
manifest these student loans
and
away.
I'm like,
So
what are
y'all.
we manifest? I just want to know, what are we manifesting, and who or what is helping you manifest? Because some of this stuff,
Look, again,
I'm in,
I need to know, help me
some of this
manifest
stuff.
these student loan payments
I
away.
think.
Okay.
So I was when you were talking about implementing
Mm-hmm.
your intentions, I was reminded of in therapy we talk about what is it called? The stages of change. That's what it's called.
Oh, yes.
And one of the there's I think I did an episode about that. I probably did. And when I think of implementing, I think of action. So you are taking action
Mm-hmm.
towards your goal, right? Action means you didn't contemplated it, you didn't planned it out, and this is the time for you to take action. So step one and step two would be like the planning stages, like you're contemplating making changes, and then implementing would be your action stage. You're actually acting on it. There's a fourth one. What's it called? The fourth one. What's it called? The fourth one, the last stage, is called maintenance. So that would
Ooh,
be it's the fourth or fifth. It's like five stages, but the after action is maintenance, which is you maintaining the progress you make.
I like that. Yes, because we can backslide. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm a
You can jump off the horse and be like, I don't want to do this no more. And then it's like, okay, like,
yeah, especially like I said, growth and money. You said the
yeah,
thing. How many times do we backslide off that budget? Beyonce drops drip number 3.6 and you
exactly.
Adidas spending like $200, which we know is supposed to go towards savings or whatever.
Exactly.
So maintenance is key. And then, like I said, is giving yourself grace because again, we are only human. So, we are going to implement,
Yeah.
but sometimes not follow through all the
Yeah.
way. We're going to backslide.
Yeah, we're gonna backslide because we're not perfect. We're just
Yeah.
human beings living on this world. And we're gonna have moments where it's like, oh, I just want to spend, $200 on this fancy restaurant. I just want to go. Oh,
Look, because we gonna come home and we gonna be tired. Look, don't get me.
yeah, somebody gonna do it. I'm just spend this good $200 on this Ruth Chris or
Oh
wherever
my
you want to
goodness.
go. Just just spending money, and it's like, oh, I forgot all about my budget. You sure did.
Yep, I was supposed to be saying right here and right now. Mint is saying you spent $500 on takeout this month. This is not me, y'all. I'm just giving an example.
And another thing, while you were talking, I was reminded of a scripture. I don't remember where the scripture. Well, I think I remember what scripture is, but here we are. I was reminded of faith without works is dead. So you can believe all you want to, but if there is no implementing, if there is no action, you might be at the same place you was at on January 1st, 2021. Just so you know.
This is true. This is
Yeah, like if you want to believe the Lord for a business, that's great. But have you taken steps to start the business?
oh, you just
I'm
I
just
want you to use that as a clip and post that on social media because this is also true. We think it's funny. I'm writing an article now talking
yeah.
about doing the work.
Yeah, we got to do the work. Like we
Work.
we can do all of this setting the intentions and planning out the year, and I want to do this on my birthday. I want to do that in 2021. But if you're not doing anything towards it, it is pointless.
It's true. You have to do the work. You keep complaining about the job you in, but have you jumped on Indeed to find a new job? Have you went on um, to a mixer, a networking mixer, or something like that to meet people in the field that you're trying to go into? Have you researched resumes, or
Yeah.
just waiting for someone just to bippity boppity boo you
Yeah, like I was
up and away?
I was on Instagram, and I think we've talked about Marshawn Evans Daniels.
Yes,
You had,
yes,
you had
yes.
posted something that she had did, and I was looking at her. I was looking at her page because I was trying to figure out when her devotional was going to go back on sale, because everywhere that I've been looking, it's out of stock. But luckily today the devotional, I ordered it today because it was in stock on Amazon.
I might have to go back over there then. Yeah, I will.
She had made I don't know if it was just like a regular normal live for her, but she had made a live about, are your prayers blocking your blessing?
Yes,
and I only watched. Yeah, I only watched like 10 minutes, and I was like, Marshawn, you don't gotta do us like this on a good. You don't gotta do us like this. But what she was saying was so true, that sometimes we hide behind prayer without taking any action. I was like, Marshawn, you said a mouthful right there. And I only watched 10 minutes, and I said, this is a lot to take in. I need to like go watch it like for real. But it's so true. Like, we believe and we pray, but if there's no actions behind it, what else? Like, what you doing? You just chilling, just hiding, just doing nothing. I don't even know, just doing nothing.
And that's what it is. And it circles back again to the conversation on intentions versus resolutions, and why so many people fail at that resolution, because we put it out and we fail. I think it's also why people are hesitant to even set intentions at time, because with all of these things, you have to be able and willing to put in the work. You have to have that mindset that you're not going to stay here, and if you fail, you're going to get back up and you're going to try again. You're going to keep moving towards that goal, and you're not going to get stuck in, well, I prayed about it, or I'm going to go pray about it. I'm going to go pray about it and see. And, meanwhile, God up here like, you prayed for a job. I basically made your cursor land on this job. Or I made this person.
Yep.
Yeah. Right, this person came and talked to you and said, I got a position. You know about it. So I'll get back to you. It was right there. It was right there. And I think that's what intentions is. Like, it's right there. You're going to be able to taste it. When you set this thing, you start putting stuff in motion for, again, me as an example, growth in career, growth in relationships, and growth in money. I'm going to start seeing that money grow, but I could mess myself up easily and fail when I see it grow, going, well, hold on. I don't know if this is right or not. So I'm just going to go back to spending money. So you have to just know why you're doing it, again. And that's why it's so important to take an assessment, so you can see how you failed in these areas. You can see how you won in these areas. And hopefully that will be the wake-up call when you're setting your intentions and the reason for you to implement.
Do you have any assessments that you would recommend people to use to assess their growth, assess what they want to work on?
So I actually have some. If you go to my link in my profile to my Etsy store, and they are not expensive at all. Just don't buy yourself a soda, a Coke or something like that, and you can get these worksheets.
Yeah.
Or, if not, I'm sure you can Google it if you don't like mine. But simple tools, and it breaks down questions you need to ask yourself under those 3 areas. Things that you need to consider. There's also something about your time. Looking at your day, because a lot of times too, we don't implement because we tell ourselves the same thing. I don't have time. I don't have time to take a break and look for a job. I don't have time to take a break and budget. And so one of the worksheets gets you to break down your day so you can look and see where you have time. The time that you watching Bridgerton on Netflix, you could be applying for jobs.
Because I was definitely watching it.
Look, me too. That's why I mentioned it.
I was definitely watching it. But like the old saying goes, like, you make time for what you want to do. Like,
that's right. Oh, yes. That goes deep on so many levels. You make time for who and what.
Yeah, because if you say you want a job, but you're not applying, that means you really don't want a new job then.
Yeah. You are comfortable.
I think we get comfortable in our comfort in our bubbles.
Mm-hmm.
That when it's time to do something new, we like, I don't really know. I don't really know if I want to do that. And it's like, well, why not?
And I think that's why 2020, again, I know people hate it this year, but I think it was so pivotal because it showed a lot of us that we do need to make some moves. Um,
Yeah.
if you've been out here having to go into the office and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and you might need to make some moves. If you didn't like, it might have shined some light on some things with your kids,
Mm-hmm.
and their education and their behavior.
Yeah, me and my coworker were just talking about that. Even though 2020 was, a wild, because it was a wild year.
Yes.
It highlighted to people different things about themselves. It highlighted areas they need to work on. It highlighted things that were going good. But I think that, when you're in the house by yourself or even with your family, you realize stuff that you didn't realize before because we get so busy with all the other stuff like work and
Mm-hmm.
different things that we do that sometimes we don't even realize the stuff that's, under the surface.
It's true.
Yeah, under the surface.
Under the surface.
Yeah.
That's another podcast episode. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think people need to realize that, like, this year, yes, it was hard, but it shows you things about yourself. Like some people that I realized, like some people have started businesses in the pandemic. Like, what? Like, how did you even?
Yeah, I got an LLC during the pandemic.
Like it shows, people are still, making moves and really accomplishing things, even though this year was a crazy year. Like,
It was a crazy, but people still making moves, and I got that because I started looking at my money more.
yeah,
I was sitting at home, and you start to realize, like,
yeah,
how much money was I spending when I was going to work? It's like money still sitting in my account. What can I cut off? Or what can I do to enhance my podcast? What can I do to enhance my brand? And
yeah.
so when I did the LLC, because I started thinking about generational wealth and savings and
Mm-hmm.
money and things of that nature. And this was in the middle of a crazy 2020. I had three people in my family
Yeah.
that got COVID. I had about 3 or 4 people I knew that died. They
Oh
had
no.
from suicide. I knew people that were sick. I knew someone who got cancer. So, but still, in the midst of all of that, I was able to implement
Mm-hmm.
and lock into my intention for the year. My intention for 2020 was the word selfish. And it ended up being eye-opening in the middle of all of this that was going
Mm-hmm.
on. And I learned a lot and had to confront a lot about myself and other people and my relationships with people. So people were still out here making moves in 2020. 2020 was crazy, but
Somebody I
it showed
follow,
us a lot. Yeah.
like somebody I follow, I learned a new skill starting in September. I need to get back into learning the skill actually because I took a break. They had made their first like $1 million this year. Like,
Yes, Jesus, let me touch the hem of your cloth.
and I'm so like, I admire this person because they are younger than me, and I'm like, oh, you making $1 million? Let me know what you're doing because I need to know, sis.
Oh my gosh, a good 2020 story. Now that you said that is Slutty Vegan.
Oh yeah. See,
He has oh,
when the world opens back up, I'm trying to go to Atlanta. I'm gonna meet you in Atlanta,
oh
and
my god, because I still have not went, and I know people that know her, and I'm like, how have
what?
you brought me a burger?
Yeah, yeah, like I really like.
But she has been on fire during 2020.
I
She's
know she opened another restaurant, another location. I said, well, come on, sis, give us the tools and help us, help us.
so she is moving and has been giving out things. She's been blessing
Mm-hmm.
people during this time. 2020 did not stop her hustle.
Yeah, people have, the word that people have been using, that people have pivoted
Mm-hmm.
during the pandemic, like Kev on Stage. I don't know if you follow him,
Oh
but
God, yes, he made
he
his app.
he made an app. He also did the virtual comedy tour,
Mm-hmm.
which is amazing. He was on like news outlets talking about his comedy tour. Like he pivoted during the pandemic and still is still making money.
it's amazing the growth that can come out of adversity.
Mm-hmm.
And this was a year that tested us all. But I think when we get outside our bubble, our self bubble, and
Mm-hmm.
start to look around, we see that, you know, people were also experiencing losses
Mm-hmm.
and things of that nature. But there are people that were really pivoting out here. They were really making moves. And you know, we named some things that were big, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, restaurants and apps and stuff like that. But you know, people were still graduating during this time.
They was. They
Going
were.
back to school because they were at home. So it was just like, I might well
Might
get
as
a
well go back to
certificate.
school.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show that they never lost sight of their intention and what they planned to do, right? Because, for
Yeah.
example, Kev on stage, because I love him, and his show and his podcast. You know, he was scheduled. They had a tour schedule at the beginning of the year and did like only a few dates, right? So they were like,
Yeah.
"Oh, what's going to happen to the tour?" And then they just completely pivoted to everything virtual.
Mm-hmm.
But they never lost sight of what they planned to do, or what they love to do, and they kept doing it. They just had to do it in a different way.
Right. That's true.
And sometimes with intentions, you have to do stuff in a different way.
Yeah.
In a different way. Last point that I want to make, when moving from intentions to, moving from resolutions to intentions, that's what I meant to say. We have to also change our language, because, you know, with resolutions,
Yes, right.
it's I don't know. I think you just have to change your language and how you look at things and how you talk about things when we start talking about intentions.
Yeah, words matter. Whereas word resolution, your resolve is firm. There's no room for error. It makes you feel a little bad if you resolve to do something and then you don't do it. You feel like there are repercussions. Whereas if you intend to eat right and you don't, it's like, well, I had a crappy day, but tomorrow's a new day. So I intend to eat better tomorrow. Right then, there's a shift because of the different words, resolve versus intend. So yeah, you have to tell yourself, change the wording about how you word things regarding yourself and how you talk to yourself.
Yeah. Because even me, I had challenged myself in December to do this 30-day like self-reflection journal prompt guide thing. And when I first got it back in April, I only made it to like the 13th day, I think. But it wasn't like consistently like every day I was doing it. It was more so like, oh, I do it one day this week, I do it another day the following week.
Yeah.
But this go around, I was like, I'm gonna challenge myself to do this. I didn't say like, oh, I'm going to do it, but I said I'm going to challenge myself, because when you challenge yourself, that means you're trying to like do better than last time. And so I completed all the days, but that one word, changing that one word, helped me to like actually like do it.
That's it, and that's it. I did a 5:30 challenge in November. So doing like
you did.
Like, yeah, so I was up every morning.
At 5:30?
Well, no, it was 5:00 because I get up 5:30 now. So it was 5:00 in the morning. I had to get up at 4:30 because I have to get up. So I have to get my mind right before I hop on and do stuff. So I set up a buffer. It's like I have to talk myself out the bed. Like, okay, so we're going to get up and then we're going to make our way downstairs to the computer. But it helped because it was a challenge. And then I had 2 other women in my team that were counting on me because, you know, we got a little prize if we showed up all 30 days. But it helped, and everybody said that it helped that it was the word challenge, right? And not like it's a resolution or something like that, but it's a challenge. So it almost felt like it was it gave us a little extra boost. Like, this is a competition. This is a challenge. This is a challenge to get up at 5. And I mean, we was online with bonnets and stuff on, but you know, we was there at 5 in the morning. 5 in the morning.
Because when you think of the word challenge, you think of a competition, but you're not competing against anybody. You're competing against yourself.
We were rooting for each other. We get on that thing and be like texting each other and everything, you know? So it wasn't like, yeah, it was just like, all right, come on, what you gonna do? And then we sound off with other people like, what are you working on? I'm gonna check in with you.
Yeah, because when you challenge yourself, you're only really competing against who you were the day before, right? You're
Yeah.
challenging yourself to do better. Yeah. I had another thought, but I kind of forgot what it was. I had another thought about something. It was a good thought too, and now I done forgot.
It's gonna come back. It's gonna come back.
It probably won't. Yeah, it probably won't. So where can my wonderful listeners follow you, find you on the interwebs?
So Instagram, who needs to pay us? You need to. You can follow me on Instagram at PM Kester. That's Kester, and that will give you links to my Medium articles, where you can find some of my podcast episodes. So some of the top platforms that you can find how to take a break the podcast on. My Etsy store, in case you need some worksheets to kind of help reel you in with your intention setting, and it'll give you a link to my website. I am also on Facebook.
Okay.
Facebook.com/How to Take a Break podcast.
Okay. So thank you for being a guest on our wonderful show. Well, my wonderful show. This was a great episode about intentions. I hope you guys learned something about intentions, because we said a whole lot in a short amount of time.
We did. And it was good. Thank you so much for having me. I had fun. This was good. This is good. I can't wait for this to come out.
So this has been another episode of the Mentally Whole podcast, and Happy New Year, because this is coming out in the new year. So yeah, bye guys.